Which communist states suffered most from collectivization? Imagine a time when governments aimed to reshape entire farms and villages overnight. That was the reality for many communist states trying to build a new society. Today, we're focusing on which of these countries faced the hardest hits from collectivization. The Soviet Union, especially Ukraine, experienced the most severe consequences. Under Joseph Stalin's rule, the government forced peasants to give up their private farms and join large collective farms called kolkhozes. This process involved violent suppression of wealthier peasants known as kulaks. They were labeled enemies of the state and faced executions, deportations, or imprisonment. Many resisted by slaughtering livestock or destroying tools, which hurt food production. One of the worst outcomes was the famine in Ukraine called the Holodomor, which happened between 1930 and 1933. Millions of Ukrainians died from starvation because the government took most of the grain and food supplies. The famine was worsened by political repression and harsh punishments for communities accused of sabotage. The agricultural decline was sharp because experienced farmers were replaced with untrained workers, leading to less efficient farms. Other parts of the Soviet Union, like Western Ukraine, Western Belarus, the Baltic states, and Bessarabia, also went through collectivization. These regions faced similar repression and agricultural setbacks. In Eastern Europe, countries like Romania and Czechoslovakia adopted collectivization after their communist parties took power, often copying the Soviet model. Romania's collectivization from 1948 to 1960 involved first-hand violence but caused fewer famines than in the Soviet Union. Czechoslovakia became a model for collectivization in the Eastern Bloc, with most farms run by cooperatives or state farms by 1960. China under Mao Zedong also faced massive struggles with collectivization. During the Great Leap Forward from 1958 to 1961, policies aimed at rapid industrialization and farming changed the landscape. The result was one of the deadliest famines in history, with nearly 30 million deaths from starvation. Flawed policies, natural disasters, and political campaigns disrupted food production, causing widespread suffering. Vietnam also tried collectivization after 1975. The government redistributed land and banned private farming equipment. While not as deadly as in China or the Soviet Union, these policies caused major upheaval and reduced agricultural productivity for some time. From a communist point of view, collectivization was seen as a way to eliminate private land ownership and class enemies like the kulaks. It was believed to modernize agriculture and support industrial growth. Despite human costs and initial drops in output, the goal was to create a more equal and efficient system that served the collective rather than individuals. So, the Soviet Union, especially Ukraine, suffered the most from collectivization, with devastating famines and social upheaval. China's Great Leap Forward also caused enormous suffering, making these two examples stand out in history.